Hello dear students, in today's lecture we are going to start our next topic in the chapter number 13 science, and that will be why do we fall ill. Okay, so on behalf of Vdvs Vidya Sankul, I am welcoming you on the e-learning class in standard 9 science. Okay, so going to the next topic in this chapter, let us take a brief preview on what we have earlier studied in this chapter. Okay, so far we have seen in this chapter that why do we fall ill. First of all, we have seen that what is the basic concept regarding the ill, or we have seen that basic definition regarding the disease. So the disease means the discomfort of our health or discomfort of feeling anything. This will be known as the disease, while we have seen other topics that regarding the health. So we have seen that health is not consist that how we are feeling in our physical state, but it is also consist that whatever the reasons rather we are feeling that for our mental or physical health issues, or we are whatever the things we are feeling for the regarding our social surrounding. Okay. So we have already discussed that topic in the previous lecture. Also we have seen the basic difference between the health and what is the disease free. Okay, health is not only a thing, or we can say that it will be the basically it is the mentally, physically and socially well-being, the state of that of our body, and that will be regarding as the disease health. And we are saying that what is the disease free, that if any kind of illness is not present in our body, that will be considered as the disease free syndrome. Okay, and also we have seen the types of diseases, in which we have seen the infectious disease, acute disease. Okay, also we have seen the chronic disease. So we will discuss another topic in this chapter, and that will be the, you can see whatever we have already finished in this chapter. So far we have finished the types of disease. Acute disease, these are the diseases which only last for a short duration of the time, and we have seen in the previous lecture that cold, cough, typhoid are the things that are only came in our body for the short term of period. Okay, afterwards we have seen that what are the chronic disease. So we can say that these are the disease that will be come in our body for the long lasting effect, and that will stay for the long lasting effect, give us the drastic effect on our body. So they are generally the diabetes, tuberculosis, AIDS. These are types of the thing that will comes in your body and lies within your body with a very long time. Okay, afterwards we are going to discuss the infectious disease and non-infectious disease. Generally the disease which are transferring from one person to another person called as the infectious disease. In recent time you can say that the corona is then infectious disease. Also the non-infectious disease means what? The exactly opposite to the infectious disease. While we are studying in the infectious disease, it will spread from one person to another person. These are the disease will not spread from one person to another person. Okay, there is no medium that's that transfer the disease from one person to another person. Examples are the cancers, diabetes are the thing, or night blindness are the things that will be not transferred from one person to another person. So it means if the person have the cancer, it doesn't mean if you are eating with them then you get the cancer. Okay, so don't worry about that. The cancer is the non-infectious disease, and we can consider that they are very well secure, and we can eat eat with the person who has got the cancer. So these types of sometimes of superstitions are we are believing in that if we are eating with the cancer person, if we are eating with the AIDS person, if we are eating the diabetes, if we are eating with the person who have the diabetes, then we also we might get the syndrome, but that is not possible, because non-infectious disease consider these all are the disease will consider in the non-infectious. It will not transfer from one person to another person. Okay, so that's why you need to be careful about that, but that doesn't signify that you need to very precautious about that. Okay, so we'll going to another point in today's lecture, and that will be the causes of disease. Okay, So we can say that what are the cause that conducts the disease. Okay, so if we are generally thinking about that, what are the reasons that might cause our health bad, okay, that might cause us the disease syndrome. Okay, so first point is that the pathogens like virus, pathogens means what? The organisms. Okay, you can easily memorize that the organism which will transfer the some of the things from one person to another person, okay, or some of the things from one place to another place, that will be called as the pathogens. Those who will be those will provide the harmness to our body, it will be called as the pathogens. Okay, so it will be the basic definition regarding the pathogens. If you remember in standard 8 in microorganisms chapter, we have seen that what are the pathogens. Those who harm the human body, or those who harm or those who transfer the disease from one point to another point, that can consider as the pathogens. So pathogens like virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoas, and worms, these are all the things that will be considered as the these are all the things that will cause the disease. Okay, you can understand that virus is like in recent time we have here the word coronavirus, so it will be the same thing. The bacteria, some of the bacteria are transferring the and some of the bacteria will cause the disease in the human body, like common cold or chicken pox is the bacteria, and that by getting by involving the bacteria we get these types of disease. So it will cause us the some of the disease regarding that. So fungi, if you eat the fungi consisting food, then you might get the disease. Like that, protozoa or worms will also cause the human body, and we get some kind of fever if we eating fungi, or if we eat by chance protozoa or worms, then we might get the fever, might get the cough, might get the headache. Okay, so these types of anxiety issues will be caused by these pathogens. So it is the one of the reasons that causes the disease in our body. Okay, another reason that will be poor health and undernourishment. Now what is poor health and undernourishment? So we'll get the poor health means what? If we don't get the sufficient, or we don't get the exactly whatever the amount of atmosphere we needed, then might we get the poor health. Okay, if my physical state is not well, then I might get the poor health. If my social surroundings will not be sufficient, or it will not give me the whatever the thing or whatever the cleanliness I need to stay there, okay, then it might get us the poor health. And also the physical state of my health is not well, then also I might get the poor health. So it is the one of the reason, if I don't careful about my body in surroundings, in mentally or in physically, and then I might get the disease. Okay, so these are the one of the reasons that we have caused the disease. Another reason is undernourishment. Undernourishment means if we don't treat our body properly. If I get the headache and then I don't take a medicine, or if I take the headache as a very lightly, that these things are happened, okay, then it might cause the more damage in my body. Okay, so it will give us the very much more damage. If I don't recover from the headache, then it might gets us the more damage, and it gives us the disease. Okay, malfunctioning of the body parts. If the one of the body parts is not working properly, it gives us the some kind of disease syndrome in our body. One of the body parts may not work, that will be called as the malfunctioning. Malfunctioning means not working properly. Okay, that will be the body part, one of the body parts will not working properly, then we might get the some kind of disease. Another reason is the environmental pollution. Now if we understand that in our surrounding, we have seen that lots of places that are very dirty, lots of places there we have seen that the air pollution, we have seen the noise pollution. So in that type of place we can't live there, and if you live there, in after some of the time you will get the some kinds of disease, because first of all you get the mentally illness there because of the noise pollution, that you suffer from the breathing problem because of the air pollution. After some time you get the anxiety issues in your body, and that will cause the damages in our body, and that will cause the disease in our body. So we have to careful about the environmental pollution, and that's why we are doing the greenery in each and every place, so that we can live peacefully in this world. Okay, otherwise the society will damage whole earth, because we are using all the natural resources without taking any care of them. Okay, we are extremely using and extremely wasting all the natural resources that we have get it free. Okay, so after some time these sources will get decomposed, and then it will get the disastrous to us. Okay, so we have to be very careful about that. Afterwards, genetic disorders. Now if some of the things will came into the genetic disorder. Genetic disorder means what? They sometimes if you heard that by born you get the specs, by born you get the some of the physical problem in your body, by born you get the physical damage in your body. So these types of things will came from your parents or from your elder generations. Like diabetes is the thing is came by generations to generation. Okay, so in your family, if one of the person gets the diabetes, then it might be possible that its next generation is also came with the diabetes problem. Okay, so it is a kind of a thing that will become in the genetic disorder. Genetic disorder generally came from generation to generation, caused the disease that will be considered in the genetic disorder. We will be discussing the next point, that will be infectious agents. It means who are the things, or who are the organism, or who are the agents who transfers the disease from one place to another place, or one person to another person. Who are that? And they are called as the agents. The agent which cause infectious disease are called pathogens. Okay, as we already studied about that. These are viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa and worm. Now these are all the things, and what are they transfers? Okay, I have already told you the basic examples for viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa. Now we'll see the proper diseases that they caused us. Okay, so viruses caused us the common cold, influenza, measles, mumps, chickenpox, AIDS, hepatitis B. These types of things will be transferred by viruses. Also we can add the new COVID-19, or you can add the corona. Okay, the bacteria transfers the disease called cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, tetanus, anthrax, food poisoning. These are the things that is transferred from one place to another place, or from one person to another person by bacteria. Okay, and this will cause us the disease, these types of diseases syndrome in our body. So we have to be very careful about viruses and bacteria. The fungi will give us the skin infection. Okay, if you have ever seen in your body that you might you have got some of the skin infection in your body, red spots will created in your body, that will be caused due to the fungi. And if you are itching there continuously, then it might get a bigger and bigger in after some time. So you have to be very careful about the fungi where it will gives us the skin infection. Okay, next, protozoa. Protozoa caused us the malaria, Kaiser, amoebic dysentery, sleeping sickness. These are the things that will caused by the protozoa. Okay, these are some of the things. And last, that worms. Worms gives us the infections in intestinal infection. In means we have in our digestive system, we have two kinds of intestine present in our body, and that will be the small intestine, and another is the large intestine. So whether I got the infection in intestine, that is why, because I have eaten some of the worms, and that will cause the infection in my small intestine and large intestine. It will give us the pain in our digestive system. It will also give us the disease called we cannot eat properly, we cannot digest the food properly, we got the pain in our body. Okay, so for that we need to be very careful about that. If the worms will damage the worms will infect the intestine, then we need to be very careful about that. Okay, also the elephantiasis will be caused by the worms. Okay, if your leg will get bigger, then it might called as the elephantiasis. Okay, next topic is that means of spread infectious disease. Means what? Infectious disease spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, vectors, physical contact and sexual contact. Okay, we have seen in the previous lecture, but still we are going to see that through air we might get common cold, tuberculosis, pneumonia. These are the things that will be transferred through the medium of air. Through the water, the diseases are transferred are cholera, dysentery, etc. And through the vectors means mosquito and flies will give us the disease called malaria, dengue, typhoid, tuberculosis, diarrhea, dysentery. These are the things. Through sexual contact we might get, if we don't careful about that, we might get the AIDS. Okay, so we have to be very careful about that. Okay, another thing that we are discussing today, that organ specific and tissue specific manifestation. Okay, now what are these? So if the disease causing microbes enter the body by different means and goes to different organs and tissues. So if the microbes enter our body and the disease causing the microbes means what? Microorganism. This will be in a short term we can use as the microbe. So if the microbes enter in our body and it will transfer from one organ to another organ, then what happened? Microbes which enters through the nose are likely to go to the lungs. Those types of microbes are what? They are the bacteria. So bacteria which cause the tuberculosis of the lungs. So that's why you have to be very careful about that, because these microorganisms came to your mouth and then goes to the lung. It will not stay in your mouth. This is the point that we are discussing. If they stay here, then we might get the disease of mouth, but it will not stay here. It will goes to the lungs, and there they caused the disease, and this disease will called the tuberculosis. Okay, if they are reached to the lungs, then we might get the disease called the tuberculosis in our body. Second thing, if the microbes which enter through the mouth and likely to stay in the gut, then we might get, gut means in the intestine. Okay, so bacteria which causes the typhoid or liver, bacteria which causes the jaundice. If you think that the bacteria will goes to the mouth and then they reach to the gut, gut means in the liver, pancreas or in the intestine. So if the bacteria will stay on the gut, it might get caused as the typhoid, and if it reached to the liver, then it will cause us the jaundice. So if you think about that, this is a very careful, we have to be very careful about that. Okay, viruses in today's recent time we can hear that viruses will not stay in the nostrils or nose, it will goes to the lungs and it will get the damage in the lungs, and that's why we can't breathe, and that's why in some time we are getting a more problem in our breathing problem, and that's after some time we will get death. Okay, if we don't precaution that. Viruses which cause the AIDS enter the body through a sexual organ during the sexual contact and spreads through the lymph to all parts of the body and damages the immune system. Now if you hear the word lymph, now what is this lymph? Sometimes in our body, in our digestive system, the 2 or 3 things will be produced in our body, that will be protein, carbohydrates and fats. the whole the things will converted into the some kind of acid and they will circulated in our body. But our body has a small kinds of vacuoles present in all the organs. So some of the things from the protein will stay there, some of the carbohydrates will stay there, some of the fats will stay there, and these all the things which will be made and which will get mixed, it will be called as the lymph. And so if some of the virus gets mixed with this lymph will also circulated in our body, and that's how the AIDS will circulated in whole our body. Okay, so that's why we have to be very careful about that. Now viruses which causes Japanese encephalitis, brain fever, enters the body through the mosquito bite and goes and infects the brain. Okay, so some of the Japanese virus, okay, encephalitis virus is the caused as the it will cause through the mosquito and it goes and infects the brain. So this is very dangerous. Okay, it will gives us the brain fever. It means the fever of the brain. So that's why we have to be very careful about that. Okay, if the fever comes in your body, then we can reduce that fever. But if the fever will generate in your brain, then how can we treat them? So that's why we need to be very careful about that. This is the last topic that we are discussing, that principles of treatment. Okay, now what are the principles of treatment? It means if we have to treat the disease, if we might get caused the disease, okay, then now what should we do? Okay, then these are the things that we have to do, and then we get the treatment properly. The treatment for the treatment of the infectious disease consists of 2 steps. Okay, they are to reduce the effects of the disease and to kill the microbes. So 2 things that we can do to treat our disease. The first thing is to reduce the disease. It means if we can reduce the disease, then first of all the thing we can do is that how can we reduce the disease. Okay, and second thing, that whatever or whoever caused us this disease, we have to kill them. If the viruses, if the bacteria has caused us that disease, then we have to kill them. Okay, so for that we need to understand this. Okay, to kill the microbes, to reduce the effects of the disease, what should we do? What can we do? This can be done by taking the medicines to bring down the effects of the disease, like fever, pain, or loose motions. Okay, these whatever the medicines we are taking, it will reduce the disease. It will not precaused or it will not kill the bacteria, but it will reduce it and we might get precaused. Okay, and by taking bed rest to conserve our energy. Okay, and if we are taking a bed rest, then we get the disease free in our body. Another thing, if you can't reduce the disease, then what should you have to do? Then you have to do the killing of the microbes. Okay, this can be done by taking a suitable antibiotics and drugs which kills the microbes and the disease is cured. Okay, another thing to prevent or the cured from the disease is to take a vaccine, but this topic will be discussing in the prevention of the disease. Okay, so we'll be seeing that topic in the next lecture. So in today's lecture there are 2 or 3 homeworks that I am writing here. Okay, question number 1, you need to write, explain principle of treatment. Question number 2, you need to explain means of spread for infectious disease. Okay, and question number 3. Cause of diseases. Explain okay, so this is your homework and today's lecture. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for hearing this lecture. If you had any kind of doubt, you can ask me on my personal WhatsApp number. Till then, bye bye everyone and take care of yourself.